Welcome, Noah.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Thank you so much for seeing me.
It's good to see you after a while.
Sure, amazing. The first reason why I'm here
Yeah.
is to discuss sports and how it helps the youths concerning peer pressure and
Okay.
the peer influences that are going through out there and all those things. So the first thing I'd like to know, or the audience to know, is how long you've been at OYDC and
Okay.
interacting with the youths and all those things.
Okay, that's a very good question. My name is Noah Silomba. I work here at OYDC. I've been here since 2015, and I serve as a communications officer.
For life. The thing that I want to know the most is, if you scale it 0 to 10, at what point what's the percentage that you've experienced, or how many youths that percentage have you seen change based on the, the help and guidance that they are given on a daily basis?
I think quite a number of them. I cannot state the exact figures as in at now because I'll need to consult my colleagues from the other departments so that I can have the figures. But just like I indicated, a number of them have been changed, and we even see an athlete who started from here. Okay, maybe he or she was 15 years at that time, and they got influenced by someone out there to take up drugs, for example. You know, being cheated, like when you take up this drug, it's going to help you excel in sport, when in the actual sense, it's killing you. You know, we've seen those athletes being mentored or counseled by our partners. And the moment they change, they become good people in society, and they still come back to us and testify, you know, the time I was with you, this is what happened, but I managed now to be a better person, and I feel I can resume my training sessions and contribute to what you guys are doing here by producing athletes who, you never know, can go and represent Zambia at major competitions. So
the thing that I want to know next is, there's already a known perspective of who's getting affected by the things that, like the influences and all these things. But I think there's a component of who you are first before these things really get to you in a more negative way, right? But then the thing is, based on the interactions you've had with the youths for this longest time you've been at OYDC, what is it that you think sends youths into the vulnerability of being affected by the negative and the external influences, that like the drug issue, the harmful practices like early marriages, early settlements and all those things? Would you say there's a component out there, like bad upbringing, or maybe the environments they come from and all those things? Would you say there's a component beforehand that makes youths more vulnerable to these problems that they face on a
component, maybe I wouldn't specify one, but most of these, according to what they tell us, or maybe share with me and with my other colleagues, would be, of course, the upbringing, the background itself. Maybe someone is staying with someone who's abusing them, and they feel they're not needed where they're coming from. So the only option to feel better and feel at peace is by indulging themselves in maybe taking alcohol, drugs, and some, they'll even opt to get married at a tender age, when you're not even mentally stable to be in such a situation. And even some people they mingle with, like friends, they're, these young people, they come from different backgrounds, like this institution where it is, it's strategically located in densely populated area where we see these guys coming to train and do all sorts of activities. And by virtue of doing so, you find some, they will be like, I want to be like that one. But how did that person succeed? How did they get there? What do they do?
So to cut you short on that, I think I like that point. So then what is introduces to this conversation is that based on what they see, there's where they're coming from, what the influences are from where they're coming from and what they get introduced to based on what they see in certain areas they go to, right? So now the thing is, based on what they see to wherever they go, do you think that the older generation and whatever that is they've patiently worked on to achieve, do you think that is as a result as to why youths are feeling pressured to want to have those things? Because then we're talking the speed of, you know, modernity today. Like life is moving at a very fast pace. Like there's fashion every day, there's technology every day, and there's all those things. So would you say the things that the older generation has pursued already is pressuring the youths into thinking they have to have them in a shorter period of time that we are living in this generation?
Yeah, you know, the issue of peer pressure, it's there, and it's one thing which we need to accept and find a way of controlling it, because majority of our youths, some are committing suicide. Of late, we've seen a number of stories on social media where it's showing someone has died. How did they die? They committed suicide. It's because of the things which they are looking at, the things which they're looking at, oh, this friend of mine has this and that, and I would have done the same maybe if I did this and that in a different manner or a similar manner. But we need to change this whole thing and just sit them down and make sure that we develop a youth who will be our future few years from now. Because there's a saying which goes like, our youths are the future leaders of tomorrow. And if we are failing to help them or counsel them, I don't think we'll be doing justice. So a lot has to be done, and this is why we should find places like OYDC, which has quite a number of partners.
So maybe define just give a, because that's what OYDC stands for, Youth Development. What is it? Youth Development.
Okay, I'll give you a brief about that. The acronym OYDC, back then, before we rebranded, it used to be called Olympic Youth Development Centre. In 2018, we embarked on a process of changing the name from Olympic Youth Development Centre to just OYDC Zambia Sports Development Centre. Yes. So I know a lot of people might be asking why the name change. That can be a story for another day, but we still have the same mandate of promoting sport, developing youths into better people by providing facilities at their own time, so that these guys can be emerging top, maybe Olympic heroes, and continue minting medals for our nation, because these facilities, they are for everyone, and we do not see why we should restrict someone with a passion for sport to come and train from here.
So then, how would you say, or just mention a few activities that you think are so long-term engaging for the youths, that which can help them have something to escape the daily anxieties, the daily pressures and everything? What activity would take them a long way to at least detach them from the daily problems that they are facing out? They just mention a few. Let me
like for OYDC, we have quite a number of activities, sports related. We have over 19 sports disciplines. There's basketball, netball, beach volleyball, football, just to mention but a few. And we also have a competition, a youth competition, which has been managed here at OYDC since 2011. And it engages young persons below the age of, let me just say, between the ages of 15 to 17. It's called the Turing's Youth Sports Challenge. And the competition are held weekly, you know, where we invite young boys, teams, girls from different communities to come and compete. Once they get done with the competition, at the end of the year, they get to participate in the grand finale. Amazing. Where we'll see the creme de la creme coming to compete and be awarded with trophies and medals. Apart from that one, we have a group called Young Leaders under OYDC. This is a group which was formed to help these youths who come to OYDC. they can feel shy to talk to an elderly person, but I'm sure they can share whatever they're going through with their fellow young ones, whom we have entrusted to get that information and come and share with us. Then we'll find a better way of approaching those young ones.
So there seems to be a challenge in between opening up to the people, to the public, based on the issues that they're facing on the inside, and them finding it free to talk to anybody on the planet or on the area, on places that they're found. So at OYDC exactly, do you sort of like have a department that allows the youth to come in and share their problems, so you can find a way of helping them in return? Do you have such a thing?
We have the programs department, which is responsible for all that.
Okay.
We have people hired in the department. We have the programs officer and the programs manager. Mostly the youths, they come through their coaches.
Yeah.
If an athlete has any problem at home, and we feel there's need for us to help or support where we can, we'll definitely do that. Get to analyze the situation and see if it's beyond us. We can definitely recommend that this child be taken elsewhere where they can get a professional help, and see that they are better people in society. Because it will be bad for us. We leave it to coaches to do nothing when we have the capacity of doing that. But we make sure that we support where
the youth can go and get a better solution.
And get a better solution, of course.
That's pretty much amazing. So what would you say about the external environment? So say there's a higher percentage of the youth being out there, and there's a lesser percentage of them being in OYDC, right? Or within the OYDC fences.
Yeah.
So on the scale of 0 to 100, so to say, percentage-wise, how would you say the external world impacts the youth? Is it, I don't know if we're going to put it negatively, but let's speak it on the negative part because we're talking peer pressure right now.
Yeah.
So would you say the negativity that they get from out there, like what they see on the streets, what they watch on phones, the internet, TV, and all those things, the negativity that they see, would you say the activities that OYDC offers would slightly try to exhaust that negativity of the youth and send them to a better place?
Well, I can't say they would try and exhaust whatever pressure they're going through. At the end of the day, it goes with the person. Okay, if you're not willing to change, no matter how much we try to help you, it will be difficult for us to do that. So there has to be dedication and commitment for you to be willing to change. Because society it teaches us a lot. There are people out there, and maybe some they don't even know about OYDC, the existence of OYDC. But we are giving them this opportunity as they are watching or listening to us. That there's a facility in Zambia called OYDC, which is open to the youths. Okay, and these youths, they can identify which sport discipline is appealing to them and start coming here. And like being in the communities where they'll be hearing different stories, maybe, sorry to say, but maybe you live in an environment where there's a bar here, and you know what you should.
It's like you're always getting fed with this negative information and all those things,
But here it's quiet. You only meet people of different backgrounds. You know. Maybe you meet an athlete who's been to the Olympic Games for quite a number of times. The moment they come and tell a story to you, that this is what I've gone through, this is what I've experienced, if you dedicate your time when you're not doing anything at home, you come to train to OYDC, you can be like me. You can be the next champion people will be praising and welcoming at the airport, that you are bringing medals to Zambia. You know, and what do? You see the media will be all over you and capturing all those wonderful moments. So there are some, again, who would prefer to stay back in those communities and do all sorts of games, what.
So the thing is...
so we'll still...
So the thing is for those, my interest is so much on those that are remaining behind. Because then it somehow shows just how powerful the negativity is on the subconsciouses and other things. Because upbringing and what people face on a daily ends up becoming their personality and something like that. So then there has to be a component of how that can be drained out of a human being, right? So the question would be, if a person comes with all that negativity and strives so much to remain behind and not be in OYDC or within the OYDC fences, what other ways do you have of sort of like making them realize to a certain degree that what is out there is pressuring, and because there's so many people who are facing peer pressure and they don't really know they're facing it. So the thing is, there has to be a component of education first, making them understand what peer pressure is and how it's affecting them, and then giving them a point of solution on how they can shift from the other side to the positive side. So how would you explain the bridge in between, or how do you marry the two between helping them escape the negative and bringing them into the positive?
Oh, that's a very good question, and it brings me to the point which I wanted to stress. Like for OYDC, we do have outreach programs where we go in communities.
Amazing.
And talk to either community leaders, the young ones, and all, just basically telling them more about what we do. Okay. I'll give you an example of the project we currently have under PEPFAR, which is a US-funded project. And we are using sport to disseminate HIV messages, where we're trying to raise an awareness that people need to protect themselves in this manner. By virtue of doing so, we get to have different young people we have trained to go and do the same. The same message that this is how you need to protect yourself when you're trying to do this, or maybe when you're faced with this and that. Okay. And we've done this for a number of times, and we look forward to doing more of this. And I would say OYDC still remains a safe haven for such development. I know someone might be seated and feeling, I'm tired, I can't take this anymore. I've tried this and that, nobody seems to pay attention or help me. But we're here. We have professionals from our offices who are specialized in that field. They can help you, and you just talk to someone. You just talk to someone, and we want to see people, young ones, be better people in society.
Especially for men, because men are being raised to think they're tough people, and they don't have emotions, and they can't cry and do those things. But it's like we do have emotions, and we cry as well, and things dangerously push us to the ground, and we need pickup. So I think that's a very important one, because then they too need a place in which they can talk to somebody and get the solutions that they lack at the end of the day. So thank you so much.
I appreciate
It's been an amazing interview.